We are live. We are live. Hello, hello, my beautiful people. We are live. We did it. We did it. Hello, my beautiful body, mind, and soul providers. We are back here on our pop-up weekly conversations with my beautiful co-hosts, Michelle and Lorna. Hello, hello. Say hello. Let us know where you're tuning from. Let's see if we live. Yes, we are live. We did it. We've been working for the last 20 minutes to get live because Phantom and Zoom and all the fun things are there are not quite friends anymore. So we try to make them friends. Anyway,
Oh,
we never give up. We never give up.
we're dedicated.
Like I said, the technology is not gonna do me.
Right.
Talking about time, it took us 20 minutes to make this happen. Let's talk about time, ladies, because time is can be either our enemy or it can be our friend when it comes to running a business. And we all know that time, most of us, is against us when we wearing many hats as entrepreneurs, as business owners. We wish we have more than 24 hours in a day. How we can manage time, and what is time to you? Is against you or is with you when it comes to running a business? What is your guys' takeaway?
Lorna?
Time, such an interesting concept. Yeah, that whole piece, that saying of time flies when you're having fun. That aspect, I know that for myself, when I'm really focused, it can be either that, wow, it's only been that much time, or it's been, wow, it's been that much time. When I'm really focused in and on zone type thing. So it's an interesting piece. I find that there's a saying, and business wise or not, but uh, the length of a minute depends on which side of the bathroom door you're on. And I think that sometimes time really can seem like it really flies, and it's that there's like, where did that go? Like, and if I'm really, like I say, if I'm really focused, it can be just there. And so much can get done in a little bit of time. And other times I can find that, like, how did the whole day go by when it felt like I was doing this and doing that? I don't know. It's a fascinating concept. It's a fascinating concept. And sometimes very elusive, like water. You can't really hold it in your hand. I don't know. Michelle.
Well, I'm inclined to the physics and science of it. So, time and space from a quantum mechanics and physicist angle aren't really separated, and that it's not linear. So time literally distorts, and so we can, it it's hard to kind of like put in lay language, but it's also your frame of reference, right? So when you're in, but what I find helpful is, it can be helpful to measure the same way a quarterly plan can help you measure, in the sense that you want to have so many measures of time that you're allocating, relatively speaking, out of it. So, when you think about what your goals are for your business, and then you back calculate, okay, well, what are the priorities, and what are we going to, what do I need to focus on? Then you can chunk out the time that you need according to the priorities. But even when you do that, when you're inside of a block of time, if you really love what you're doing in that block of time, time can stretch out forever. And when you don't like it, or other way around, time goes really fast. And when you don't like it, it like stretches forever. So I don't think we should let ourselves get stressed by time, because things can change in a second too, really. So It's how we operate our field, like how we create our reality, how we perceive time, our assumptions about time, what it means if we don't make it on time. You know, it's sort of our perceptions are creating all of the realities about time. If you want to go woo woo about it. But yeah, so that's what I think about time. I never get enough time with you two.
Thank God for the pop-up conversation that we it's a must to see each other at least once or twice a week. Otherwise, we in between messages, and so we're running around. Everybody have so many hats and things to happen. But when it comes to time, it's especially in a business, and especially for myself, I will speak for myself. When you have a job and you're building a business and you have a life and you have things to other commitment and projects and so on, you always feel like you try to stretch the time, but the time never stretch. You stretching yourself, but the time never stretch more than you want. And for me, it's I used to think that I'm at the mercy of time, or I'm at the mercy of all the tasks and things I had to do. But then I realized that as, you know, diving deep into my own self-development, personal development, is that time is what you give it. Like if I give time to certain things, then I choose to spend that, let's call it time period, on that task. And and sometimes I look at this, you know, someone was asking me, it's like when we were diving deep into the discussion of time, you can never go to your past, because we think of time at past, present, and future. So we can never go to the past. So then past doesn't exist, because if you cannot go to it, what's the point of thinking it exists if you can never go to it? You can never be in your future, so that doesn't exist. You can only be here. So if it's only here, but this here, it never stagnates, is always in a move, is always flowing and moving, then what is time? Because we think a time is past, present, and future. But if past and future doesn't exist, and it's just is now, and is now just is gone already because it's moving faster than we even see it or perceive it, then what is time? So for me, then I realize in my business, it comes to organization. So I use time as a measuring way of how to organize my presence into different tasks of my life or different tasks of my business. And there's so many entrepreneurs there. I know there's so many people that are struggling with this. Where do I put, what is more important to put my time, my essence, my presence, my effort into what part of my business? And I think delegation is one huge thing I'm learning now. Learn to delegate what I cannot do or what I don't like to do, so then I can use my time into the things I really am good at or the things I need to do for my business. And I know that's something that we all struggle as entrepreneurs, to give our time to other people and also take our time back and our power by delegating certain things. So I would like to hear your guys' opinion into what is mean to delegate your time when it comes to your business, and how that is so important to build a business and scale it.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Robbins talks about in Business Mastery, you know, being the owner, not the operator. So if you're having to, you know, wear all the hats, you're not actually, you're operating your business rather than putting those hats, you know, assigning those hats to someone else and coordinating and working. You know, you should work on your business, not in your business. And so when you spend time, focused on those key things that are going to move the needle in terms of developing your business overall, rather than, you know, executing tasks. That's why I love tech, is because you can have support with things that you don't actually need to do, that either someone or a automation can do. for you. And so, but it requires kind of like a mindset shift from being running behind the ball to owning and being really authority over, like not so much a victim and more into the stance of, okay, yeah, I am creating this business is mine, I'm going to run it, and so I'm owning that time, right? And so then you're having to say, yeah, I'm to make room for the priorities, I have to delegate away. I think that's right.
And it's interesting when I hear the word delegate right away, I hear, and such a great thing, because number one, some of the things that come up is, I'm so used to doing things on my own. I don't know how to delegate, right? And those aspects of, well, the time that it takes me to train somebody or teach somebody else, then I could do it myself, and so it's kind of does that. But what's behind that? It's that sense of, well, what if they don't do it the way that I want it done? So I have to check in. And so it's funny to see all those the monkey mind that happens, right? Of those different pieces. And I think that, whether it's a person or, as I've come to experience, like using AI agents, okay, here's my AI agent for doing this and this and this. And to be able to have it, it's kind of like, oh, I've just delegated it. And some of the things that I've done for myself, if I were to do them on my own, like it would have taken me, in some ways, I think it would have taken me this many hours. No, I wouldn't even have done it because it would have taken me so many hours. So I just wouldn't even done this. So this enables me to get something done in a different way. And I think that part of it has made a difference for me. And I think even, in our group, right, the three of us, where we've got different things, when we had our meeting last week, looking at, okay, how do we delegate the different, here's the tasks that need to get done that we want to do. Where do our strengths lie? What do you want to do? What do you love doing? And all of those things. And I think that just makes the piece about time, it's kind of like great, because all of a sudden what we're doing is something that we love doing or that I'm good at doing, and knowing that we're contributing to a whole, it makes a difference as well. So I think a big part of it is letting go of those reins and knowing that even if it's not done exactly the way that I would do it, that I can let go of that. I can say, wow, let me learn from the way that you do it. So it expands my own ability. And then, okay, if this is a joint thing, how do we, okay, here's what I've done. Okay, good. Help me fine tune it. And I think that becomes a part of the delegation of it becomes a team piece. And there's that morphing and that growing and that stretching and learning that happens. And when we can do that, it just seems like everybody comes out winning.
Yeah. Yes, especially when you want to grow a business, if you always into the mindset of I can do it better, but then at one point you take all the task on you, you will never be able to grow. Then it becomes a job, not a business anymore. And I love what Michelle, you said, the business owner, or you're having another job or many jobs that other people can do. But something to learn to delegate and learn to let go of certain things and not have the control freak of like, I know better, I better do it.
Give yourself grace in the sense that our whole lives we've been trained, that time is like a unit of measure that we exchange it, time for money, that, it only happens a certain way. And as we kind of like shift into that's kind of like a really 3D kind of physical, oh, tick, 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 there goes the second hands, and time is money, right? And there's an equation that we kind of, an understanding that a certain amount of time is worth a certain amount of money. I mean, our hourly rates are set up like that, like it's really embedded in us that, time and money are connected. But what I've been finding lately, especially working with some of the 3D structures, is that it doesn't have to align like that. Like if you can get your alignment such that you are focusing on the things that you're truly here for, then move towards that. those universal clockworks will kick in, and that's what the manifesting, because I'm like a science geek, and I wanted to I'm like, okay, manifesting, right? Okay, let's like, how does that actually work, right? Like, show me the code, show how. So I've been like digging into it, and it's been really interesting to kind of like figure out like the spiritual anatomy and how you align it, and then as you step towards that, it triggers the clockworks basically to bring things in. So that doesn't have time associated with it. So if you can take a little step towards something that you're heavily focused on, that's like huge leverage, and it can bring in a huge amount of productivity and results in a very short amount of time that you in the 3D world would have to work 10 years for, right? So it really does being on the kind of area that we're in, where we're entrepreneurs and we're in body, mind, and spirit, soul kind of wellness group, kind of merging those two thought patterns is interesting. So I'd like to hear from folks watching on replay about how time shows up in your business, and time, how you align your time and your purpose.
Yeah, I even see we have a couple of people say hello. We have Heidi, we have Dallas and Jim and Evan. And we said, Heidi said, interesting, you are making me realize that when I got so sick, I was forced to let go of time. I see things more in a term of energy now. Do I have the energy to do this? That's a great question. It is energy. I think it's time, and time is energy. It's the energy that you put into what you want to do, and the things that you don't have to do it, but you think you need to do it. I think that's where, again, it comes back to mindset, like you said. So thank you, Heidi, for that. That's a beautiful question to ask ourselves. Do I have energy to do this? It is, especially when you're running business and you're running multiple projects, you have to be very, very clear with where do you spend your time on what do you spend your time on. And I would like to hear from each one of you, and those in the comments as well too. What is a thing, habit, a tool, whatever that is that helped you to manage your time in your business more efficient?
For me, I would say is getting clear on what it is that I'm working on, what are my priorities, and then what tools do I need to do those, whether it's, having everything done so I can just be in that. And then, yeah, again, looking at, do I use AI to support me in, creating this, or, scheduling this. So it's just various ways. So that's one of the things for me. I think it's becoming really clear. If I'm not really clear on what I'm doing, that I can have a tendency to meander, right? And then I think also I know that I really work well within a container. So if there's something that I know that has to be done at a certain time, that it's okay. And I used to always think that there was something, it was a weakness, if you will, the fact that I, would often leave things till the end. But I found that it creates that energy, that, okay, got to get this done. But I look at that and say, what it's done is created this container within which that focus can happen. So for me, it's been a part of how can I create those structures without it needing to be that last minute adrenaline type container, and just kind of, okay, here it is right now. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing as I think that the way I found out of that one only recently is really knowing what you want. Like, and so that's another way of saying, choose your priorities, but really knowing what it is you want. Like, and not spending time on things you don't. Like, literally just don't don't do that. Just do what you want. And then the rest will make itself clear. And you just have to, like if you follow what you want, that's literally the flags to your soul's purpose and pathway and what triggers the everything to kind of follow, and all the other things show up. So, I mean, you have to obviously use your brain and like, if you're not going to do other things, cut them out, or assign them, but don't spend time on things that aren't what you want. That is probably, I mean, you guys know my backstory too. Like how much time have I spent doing things other people wanted, right? Like doing things that you want has to be the centerpiece of how you spend your time. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. Time. Managing time for me, I connect with both of you, especially when Lorna says like, I need a deadline, and it has to be my deadline, it has to be someone else's deadline, and then you need to see me. I can do 20 things in the same time. With my ADHD brain, I'm like, yeah, I have time, no worries, yeah, I have time. And then I'm like 5 minutes later, or like 5 days later, or a day later, I'm like, watch me. I'm gonna do everything, which in one way is good because it prepares me for those moments when I have to get going, but on another hand is not good, because then all this pressure is good until one point, but then it can go to overwhelming and other things. But one thing for me works for me is that organizing, but in a way with someone else. It's almost like me promising to someone else, and has like, Michelle does her morning container when he has other people in, so then she has to stay there and do it. Something like similar with that. I need either to promise to someone else or someone else make me promise, and then I know it's not the healthiest way, but it works. So if someone tells me like, okay, you have to have this done by tomorrow, or you have to done this in a week, and I put it in my calendar, then it's in my head, and then I set and do it. But if it's on my own way, on my own terms, flower power, my brain goes everywhere, and I tend to do it 5 minutes before the deadline. So that's not, don't follow my example. Find your way. But definitely would love to hear your guys' tools, tricks, tips, how you manage your time, and how is you maybe find a really good way to manage your time and be more productive and creative with your own time in your business. Would love to hear that too. Oh, we have Betty as well too. Hello, hello. We will run this conversation here. Thank you so much, my beautiful ladies, Michelle and Lorna, for being here for our pop-up conversations. For those that are catching up this and watching replay, please comment, let us know, participate to our conversations. And if you have any subject, hot subject, or something as an entrepreneur, as a provider, would you like us to dive a little bit deep into it and speak behind the scenes that most of the entrepreneurs, they don't like to speak about it, then bring it up, bring the subject up. We'd love to hear from you.
Or join us in the provider circle and come on to as one of the features, get more exposure to as one of the featured benefits of being in the provider circle. So you can join us here on the Thursday night pop-ups. So yeah, I'd love to see you here. We'll drop the link in the comments.
Yes, that is one of the advantage of being part of our provider circle community. You can participate to this live, so then you can bring your own input for those that are watching, and also many other amazing benefits to be part of our community. We'd love to have you there. And also come and join us to our connection circle. It's happening this Sunday. And then if you cannot make it, then we have one in 2 weeks again. So we'd love to have you there to see you. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.